in New York! So we are in New York for just a couple days, taking in the holiday festivities. And it is interesting every single day here. So yesterday we spent some time in Bryant Park's Winter Market, which I think had way more going on than we ever expected it to, but it was very cool. And we indulged ourselves in our gigantic baked potato, of course, and cookies, and all of those good things. And we did find ourselves a great raw cut crystal place. We each picked up a necklace there. Mine is Herkimer Diamond, and what is yours, Lacey?
A pink tourmaline.
So those are new pieces for us. I actually don't have any Herkimer Diamonds, so this is interesting. I don't think you have any pink tourmaline either.
No.
So that was really fun and cool finds at Bryant Park.
And then we just kind of spent the day walking around the city, checking out all of the holiday decorations. And we obviously went to the Rockefeller tree at night to check it out, looking at all of the lights. And we stopped by Times Square. We did a trivia challenge where we actually won a bunch of chocolate.
We were awful, by the way, at this trivia challenge.
Yeah.
So, and this was filmed. I don't know if it's going to end up online, but it was like, we literally were awful at it.
Yeah, we don't really know how we won chocolate, other than I think they just felt bad and gave us chocolate, but we have no idea where the footage is going to end up. But it was so fun to experience Times Square and the energy, and there's just such a creative, dreamy energy to New York City where it feels like everyone is chasing their dreams and making it happen. And other than that, we just feel so inspired by the energy. We literally were walking on the street and a bird pooped like right in front of us, like inches from hitting us, and it didn't hit us. We were like, wow, tell me you're divinely protected and guided without telling me you're divinely protected and guided.
I think the only other thing coming up too, we noticed, is this theme around visibility, at least for us, right? Because the visibility is something everybody works on at some point, and we've done a lot of work on that, but it is a different level, I think, when you're in New York City because of the energy here and noticing not to care maybe so much.
Yeah, and just like let it rip. It's like everyone's making their dreams happen, and what do you care what people think of you or what you look like? And that's kind of been the theme of this trip so far. So, we will keep you posted on what's next.
So, yesterday it was pouring rain, but we did not let that stop us. We moseyed over to the Rockettes, so we did catch the Christmas Spectacular, and of course it happened to be their 100th anniversary, which I don't even think we realized, but very special time for us, first time visiting New York City and seeing the Rockettes for their 100th anniversary. And then we did have a really cool, abundant experience there. We were supposed to get a discount, we were purchasing something. Long story short, when I checked my statement this morning, we were only charged for like one item instead of like 3 items that we purchased, which is just showing you that the universe is providing right now, especially when we're in this special flow state energetically when we travel. Also, we were always pretty obsessed with the Rockettes when we were kids. We thought it was really cool. And it's kind of funny that we now got to see them finally, and on their 100th anniversary, it felt pretty special. Well, I mean, we spent 8 years as kids growing up dancing, in particular, tap dance. So we always said, you know, we needed to move fast whenever we would dance. So I just think it's funny because that's kind of like a little childhood connection there.
And it's cool just to see the people that make a career out of it. So after Rockettes, we headed down to Times Square again, which just love the energy of that place for some reason. And there's always something going on down there. And we
first we actually got pizza, right? Because
Oh yeah,
Joe's Pizza. Had to get our New York slice there.
try it out, which we were luckily got a spot because there was a line, but they really kept it moving. And then we actually found the 2026 stand that was where people were writing down their wishes for 2026 on pieces of confetti that they're going to drop on New Year's Eve in Times Square. So we got to do that, which was really fun. And it was in the middle of a torrential downpour too. So we kind of like hunkered down and made it through the eye of the storm, if you will. But we also got to see the ball. The ball was all lit up this year. They're getting that set up for New Year's Eve. And they put out the big 2026 block light up letters too. So you could take pictures with those. So it's kind of cool to see what has already changed within 24 hours of visiting that location and what they're putting out right now.
And then finally, last, we headed over to is it
Winter Garden Theater.
Winter Garden Theater, yep, for our show, our Mamma Mia show, which we love Mamma Mia. We have been obsessed with Mamma Mia since we were kids. So that was an amazing show and really exciting to be able to see that live.
Yeah, we are diehard Mamma Mia fans, and also, just as a little teaser, Mamma Mia is going to play a theme in 2026 with our travels so far. So it's been coming up a lot, and there's a reason for that. So next travel vlog you see for 2026 will likely be tied into that Mamma Mia theme.
Yes. We are wrapping up our final day, final couple hours in New York City. Yesterday was a lot of fun. We actually did the NBC Studios tour, which was very exciting for us.
Yeah, it was very eye-opening because you see the Rockefeller Center and the plaza, and you're kind of like, so wait, where do people actually film here? Like, what's in this building? Because it's not the same as other, like, spread out wide production studios. The tour was really, really fun, especially since we did it on a Saturday, and they were quite literally rehearsing for Saturday Night Live while we were there. So we couldn't go into that part of the studio, but they let us go through where Late Night with Seth Meyers is filmed.
And The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, too, which is really exciting. We're big Jimmy Fallon fans.
Yes, and Kelly Clarkson.
Yes,
too.
and Kelly Clarkson's studio. It was also really interesting because the floor where The Tonight Show was filmed had such a strong energy. I know they took us by the walkway that Jimmy walks when he goes out to do his monologue on the show, and there's this little Muppet closet right off of there, and it was just a very intense energy on that floor, which makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of creation happening in that building.
And it kind of made us wonder, like, are there any spiritual or paranormal experiences that cast and crew have in that building? Because it's probably never empty. Like,
Yes.
It's always full of people and energy coming in and out, and it definitely has a show business energy, so we were kind of wondering about that when we were there. And it just has a distinct energy in that hallway where they film all their promotional stuff and where the guests get ready in dressing rooms. There's like a distinct energy there.
We did talk a little bit to one of the pages on our tours about it, and she wasn't completely sure, but she did say it wouldn't surprise her, and as we pointed out, I'm sure it's hard to even have a moment alone in the studio or in this building, so if somebody had a moment alone, I wonder what their experience would be.
So, yep, 2 Starseed lightworkers bringing up whether the location was haunted or not. If there's spiritual encounters while people are there.
Just the typical when we're traveling and visiting new places.
It's the best question, and it's always so well received because they're like, well, I hadn't thought about that, or no one on this tour has ever brought that up before, so I wonder now. Planting our little seeds, right?
Yes. And the rest of the day was a lot of sightseeing, walking around, taking in the rest of the lights, and any other scenes outside that we haven't seen yet.
Yep, and then today we will wrap up the trip and are going to head over to Central Park to look at the lights and ice skating over there
and potentially pop into the Met or the Natural History Museum. So we're not sure if we're going to do which one we're going to do, and we just kind of want to see where the day takes us and how it unfolds, kind of leaving it up to what we feel like in the moment. And both those locations I think will have interesting energy as well, since they hold a lot of historic pieces.